still have several days to enjoy this fall-like weather until some impacts could still impact us here in North Carolina. But the big story tonight, twofold. Number one, the storm itself has weakened just a bit. Still a monster, still going to be devastating, unfortunately, for parts of Florida. Winds are now down to 165 miles per hour as the hurricane hunters are still out there investigating again tonight. It has probably fallen apart and weakened a bit because of the high mountains, both in Hispaniola and over in Cuba. Now, it still has warm water and ripe conditions to stay a strong Category 4 or 5. So the hurricane hunter continues to investigate and feed information into the computer models. So let's look at those updated models tonight. And they tell us a pretty interesting story. Still a lot of agreement because everything's rather clustered as we head toward Florida Saturday morning. Remember, impacts in Florida start Saturday, landfall probably not until Sunday, but look what the computer models are doing tonight. Remember, there's two things I always look for. I look where the cluster is, where is the group going? And then I also look at what the trends are saying. Well, the group is very interestingly all pretty much in agreement, keeping it right over the whole peninsula, maybe on the east side, but mainly over land. And then also the trend tonight was a farther shift to the west away from central North Carolina. And that's what the updated National Hurricane Center track has said as well. Still keeping it as a Cat 5 through tomorrow night, and then a Category 4 Saturday before it makes landfall sometime early Sunday on the Florida Peninsula, and then staying pretty much right over the peninsula and even up into Georgia. All that land could be devastated by this storm, but it's also going to weaken Irma, and it could be a tropical storm now before it even gets to Georgia. Again, bad news for Florida, but better news for us. Here's a close-in look at what I'm talking about. Again, now no longer a Category 3 or Category 1 hurricane around Georgia like it's been the last couple of days. Now weakening to a tropical storm and eventually just a depression on Monday into Tuesday. And again, that farther push to the west. But I want to remind you all, there has been shifts. There could be more in either direction. And remember, we're just talking about where the eye might be anywhere in this yellow. So it could be right here in Georgia Monday night. We would still maybe see some rain from that. It could be up here on Tuesday over into Tennessee. We would probably be clear. But it could also be on the right edge of this. So while we are happy about the changes to the west today in North Carolina, we are cautiously happy because things could still change. Here's what changed tonight. Remember, high pressure still steering Irma, but there's also an area of low pressure that by this weekend will drop down toward the Gulf Coast. That's got counterclockwise rotation. So if the area of high pressure and low pressure are going to work together to start to pull this north, the low pressure is eventually going to take over and pull it a little to the northwest. And that's why the shift to the west tonight. So what does that mean for our impacts? Still a Monday, Tuesday event, whatever we do get. And it's going to be just scattered heavy rain, probably not even leading to flooding now. And it might be breezy instead of damaging winds, resulting in power outages. So the threat is lower tonight, not eliminated, because we still have a few days for this thing to do whatever it wants to do. But it's a lower impact event. I'm still going to be on the lookout for an isolated tornado. So good news all around tonight, but again, cautious good news. Unfortunately, it's still going to be a devastating event for Florida. And right in its footsteps is still Hurricane Jose with 120-mile-per-hour winds. This one will probably go over similar spots that Irma did, meaning that water that got pulled up from the bottom of the ocean thanks to Irma is going to be cooler. And even though this storm might become a Category 3 eventually, it could weaken and turn to the north, so not really a concern for us.